Hello. So I thought that problem number 6 in the Chapter 8 homework was both interesting and challenging. So I wanted to go over it and just make sure that you got it. This video will hopefully be helpful both to people who are struggling with a problem and don't quite know what it's about, and to those who are able to solve it and would like to know why I think it's an interesting question, what it has to teach us, what it tells us about economics. The problem is about, again, I'm going to try and do this in one take. The problem is about Ron. You are the principal, he is the agent. He can either work hard or he can be lazy. And you don't know whether he's working hard or he's being lazy. All that you know is whether or not you're profitable. The problem is that whether he works hard or he's lazy doesn't completely determine whether or not you're profitable or not. So just looking at the profit level, you don't know whether he's working or not. But of course, he's more likely, or the business is more likely to be profitable if he works hard. So you can give him some incentives to work harder by sharing some of the profit with him. This is actually really important in information economics and in game theory. You do a lot of games like this where you're not quite sure what the other guy is doing, but you can still provide incentives. And how do you provide optimal incentives? Recently there was a Nobel Prize given out for contract theory, and this is just a basic example of contract theory. How do you set up the contract theory to make it so that the behavior that you want to see, so that the incentives that Ron faces are compatible with the behavior that the the behavior that you want to see are compatible with the incentives that Ron faces. All right. There may be lots of different ways to write this contract. We're going to assume for this problem that all you can do is share a certain proportion of the profit with him, and you're just going to figure out how much profit do you have to share with him in order to get him to do the right thing. The right thing in this case is to not slack off. One can see just by looking at the numbers that the profit is much, much higher if he's not slacking off. And when he works harder, the chances of having that high profit are higher. I could explain why more rigorously, but I don't think that you'd be surprised that to hear that a more rigorous analysis will say that it does increase efficiency to have him work. So what does it, especially when his personal cost of hard work is only $1,000. So what does it actually take to get him to do the work? In problems like this, here's what you do. You try to look at it from his perspective. All that he's thinking about is expected payments. So you calculate out the expected payment that he will receive if he's lazy, and the expected payment that he will get if he's hard. Now, of course, this will depend on the percentage of the profits that you share with him. So let's call the percentage of the profits that you share P. So you figure out his expected payment in terms of P if he's lazy, and his expected payment in terms of P if he works hard, and you choose P so that his expected payment is higher if he works hard. Then he will choose himself to work hard. You can't observe him, you can't control him, but you can make sure that his incentives are compatible with good action by structuring your contract. So that's why this is called, within contract theory, this is called incentive compatibility. All right, let's dive in. Oh, the final thing that I want to say is that in terms of his expected payment for being a hard worker, you're of course going to have to subtract off this personal cost. So I'm going to minimize, if I can, this window, and I just want to show the basic information at the top of the screen now, and I'll put that up there. So let's figure out expected payment, or expected value, expected whatever, expected happiness. His expected payment if he is lazy? Well, there is a 60% chance that he will get, that the profit will be 10,000, and he will get P percentage of that, plus, and this is just, we're calculating on the expected value. Check the previous video if calculating the expected value doesn't make sense, and if it still doesn't, contact me. And then, of course, there is a 40% chance that the firm will have a high profit if he is lazy, and then he will get P percentage of that. Simplifying, this says that he will get 6,000 P plus a number that I don't want to calculate in my head. Let's see, so that would be 1,100, 2,200, 22,000 P from the high profit state equals 28,000 P. So his expected payout if he's lazy is 28,000 P. Obviously, if you don't share any profit with him, he's going to get a zero payout. All right, whatever. Let's figure out his expected payment if he works hard. And if we go back up here, we can say that, okay, now if he works hard, there's only a 30% chance of the low $10,000 profit, plus there is a 70% chance of getting this nice, sweet $55,000 profit. The expected value then is going to be 3,000 P plus, oh gosh, another hard number. All right. Let's see. One take. I'm going to do this in one take. I swear it. As economists, we always bear costs in mind, right? Okay. 0.7 star 55,000 equals 38.5. Oh, gee, I feel bad for not guessing that number. All right. 38,500 P plus 3,000 equals, oops, equals 41,500 P. You will note that 41,500 P is significantly higher than 28,000 P. So the payments that he gets if he works hard are significantly higher. So if P is higher, then he's going to have more of an incentive to work hard. And that's why you're going to share the profit with him. You're going to share the profit with him because that will give him the incentive to want to make this business profitable. That will give him the incentive to, to want to increase this term, which is the profit that he gets when he works hard and the business is profitable. Okay. The catch here is, of course, if he works hard, then, oops, sorry, it's not 2,000, it's 1,000. He pays this personal cost valued at 1,000. So overall, what we need to do is we need to say that in general, slacking 28,000 P is worse than actually working hard. Okay. So I'm going to maximize this window so I have a little bit more space. I'm going to bring it down here. Let's see, we want to say that 1,000 is going to be less than Boy, I know how to choose the numbers, huh? Make it easy to do in my head. Let's see. You don't feel old. Sorry, you never feel dumb until you're old. Anyway, I'm so much slower than I used to be. Um, okay, 2,000, 12,000, 13,500. P has to be greater than 1,000 divided by 13,500. Bring back our trusty Google window. There it is. 1,000 divided by oops, that's 14. 13,500 equals 0.074, so 7.41%. Let's plug it in, see if it works. Could have made an error. Hopefully I didn't. 7.41%. 7.41% of the profits. Woo! Well done. So that is how you do that problem. If you want to take another look at it on the problem, I don't know if you guys have picked up on this. I know some of you have. It kind of walks you through the problem over here. The Help Me Solve This button is helpful. You learned that in the Chapter 0 tutorial homework. At least I did. Hope this helps. If you have any questions, contact me and I'll clarify. Just to wrap up, let me say that, again, what we've done is we've come up with the optimal contract. As long as we are paying him more than this amount, he's going to work hard. People respond to incentives, and we have given him the incentives to work hard, and we don't have to worry about him. We don't want to give him the money. We want to keep all the money for ourselves. We're the selfish capitalist, so to speak. But it's efficient for us to share some of that money with him, so that he works hard. Hope it helps.